Hello to everyone out there. Welcome. Can I say welcome,
Yeah,
Brandon?
you can.
Welcome to this side of the river podcast brought to you by SPLC Action Fund. I am one of your amazing hosts for the evening. And yes, I call myself amazing. I am Zakiya Clanton, and I am joined by none other than the one, the only Mr. Brandon Jones.
Thank you, Kenya. I'm excited to be here. I'm feeling average right now, but maybe I'll work up to wonderful by the time we're done.
I think you started wonderful. I'll get you to phenomenal by the night's over.
Good. And I think we might be.
I think we did on mic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep going until they bring us back live. Oh, we live. Okay. Well, they just turned on mics now, folks. Hey, this is our launch, the launch of this side of the river podcast. So you can expect some technical difficulties. We are here live at I love Jackson State University, coming to you live with election night coverage. Brandon, how are you feeling?
I don't think tonight it matters how I'm feeling because I'm a 46-year-old guy that's worked on a lot of campaigns and carries a lot of nerves into nights like this. I'd like to hear how Jackson State students are feeling tonight. How do you feel about this election? Can you hear us? What's the level of excitement in the room from Jackson State students?
So is Jackson State pumped? Are y'all excited about tonight's election?
There's some folks listening.
Oh my God, you hear that? You feel that energy? We've been feeling it all day. I think I spent majority of the day up here at Jackson State University. We started this morning at 11 o'clock with Stroll to the Polls, which was great. That was led by the D9 here on campus. And for folks who don't know, the D9 is the Divine Nine. Those are the 9 Black Greek letter organizations that are housed here on Jackson State's campus. And so we were delighted to be with them today as they mobilize young people, here on the campus to come out and vote. And it was so great as a member of the Divine Nine. I just found it so exhilarating to see, the future generations of Greeks come out and really set the standard as we've done traditionally in our community. So that has been a great, great experience for me, but also just to feel the energy, man. It was crazy up here earlier today.
Well, it's great to hear. And we're sitting in the center of the political universe for the state of Mississippi. I mean, the voting universe for sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
We have Medgar Evers' office cast a shadow over this building we're in. We have our friends at the NAACP and One Voice who are working right now. I'm not sure if all of our friends are aware that a Hinds County Chancery Court has extended voting hours here in Mississippi until 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
And so where we are in Hinds County, Mississippi, is actually going to be voting an hour later than usual. That's because, I think the hopeful reading of this is that there was so much participation at Hinds County precincts that they ran out of ballots at so many precincts that the court said, let's continue voting. Yeah.
Well, that was the energy for me. I mean, this morning when I got up to vote, I got up really early, but I didn't make it to my poll until around 8 o'clock. And at that point, I came in, I think I was at 2:06. By the time I left, there were at least another 100 people in line getting ready to vote. Yeah. And so that was encouraging to me. That also let me know, that this election is so important and people feel it, right? Yeah. We talk about it, we do the organizing for it. But when you're talking about showing up, and considering that, we had started to kind of establish this trend of low participation and turnout. You looked at what happened in the primaries, you looked at what happened in 2022 with the midterm elections, and knowing that we had less than a third of people, eligible voters here in Mississippi vote. Right. And now we come to today and we're running out of ballots, which is a good, bad problem to have, because it shows that people care and they're really excited about this election. So
it's exciting. And so I think maybe now's a good time. This is This Side of the River.
Yeah.
Podcast
this is This Side of the River.
SPLC Action Fund. Of course, Kenya is the state director of the SPLC and the SPLC Action Fund Mississippi office. I'm our director of political campaigns. Yeah. Both native Mississippians.
Born, bred, and fed.
Canton for Kenya. Pastor on the Gulf Coast for me. So let's talk about what This Side of the River means. What that title means for folks who are dialing in, finding out what this is for the first time?
Well, Brandon, this idea, and people should know this. Brandon and I are really great friends. We oftentimes share the same side of the issues, but sometimes our perspectives about how we got and how we arrived to those things are different. And so I think as we think about just the political landscape in Mississippi and like where we're headed as a country and as a state, it's important to make sure that people see us beyond just our colors, but like also think about us in the context of what other perspectives. Like we Mississippians are not a monolith, whether they're black or white or brown or in between. It doesn't matter. What matters though is that you think about the fact that we're made up of 7 regions. Each one of those regions are different. They have different cultures, different ways of life. And so the issues that are important to them may be similar, but the impact of the decisions that are made with those issues may vary. And so we want to make sure that people understand when we're talking about these issues, we're bringing all of our communities to the table for these discussions. And if I'm being transparent, I was just watching the coverage of the election, right? And who were the voices that were being tapped to weigh in? They were majority white men, right? Who were of a certain age. And so I'm looking and I'm saying, well, where are the people who look like me? Where are the women voices on this issue, right? Where are the progressive voices on this issue? Where are the black voices on this issue? I didn't see it across our local media. And so I thought this was a perfect opportunity for us to kind of launch this to kind of increase and diversify the series of thoughts when it comes to presenting the perspectives on the issues that matter most to Mississippians.
Yeah. Well, and it's no secret to anybody here. I mean, our voting and our way of engagement is racially polarized.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so having a black woman and a white guy talking about these things, I think that's significant too. And as we get ready to sort through a historic election here in Mississippi and look at the results, we will see race as a factor. We have seen race as a factor in this campaign. I think we've seen it all day. And it continues to be one of the big topics and issues that undergird so much of our American politics. And, I think we're sitting here right now. Polls have just been extended till 8:00. So we've got a little bit more time here in Hinds County for voting, but we're very close to the time in Mississippi where they're going to start counting votes. And I think using this theme of this side of the river, we're about to cross the Rubicon. We're about to cross a river into a new moment in Mississippi history, whether our leadership stays the same or whether it is different. It is going to be different by the virtue of this race.
Absolutely.
It's always different when people participate. It's always different when you have new voices entering the conversation.
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of what is on my mind tonight. What will tomorrow be? We don't know, but we know it'll be different.
Absolutely. And I think the difference starts right now. It started several weeks ago when we were out in the field and we were engaging and talking to young people about the significance, not only of this election, but voting in general, like what their responsibility was beyond just casting a ballot, what it would look like for them to go out and volunteer, give their time. I was so amazed at the energy that was generated a couple of weeks ago when we visited several campuses here in Mississippi with our hip hop texathon, paying tribute to the 50th anniversary of hip hop and using that as a tool to mobilize young people. And we sent more than 190,000 text messages in like 3 days, right? That's amazing. It's incredible energy. And for me, as someone who's like sitting at the table and thinking like, I'm hoping, I'm praying that this works, like to see the energy for those students, for them to weigh in, some students sharing that this is going to be their first time voting and why, right? And why this is significant for them. I think this is all perfect timing. God gave us great weather today.
Yeah.
Now it didn't come without some issues, but the weather was good. And I think that played a major role in my mind around like the fact that God is shining on this moment for us for one reason or another.
Well, we've got some great people here, and we've got some friends of ours that need to get up here. And I see a friend of ours, Pam Shaw.
I see her. Come on up here,
I got to tell you this story while Pam makes her way up here. Pam, you make your way around. Just get in where you fit in. I see another friend that we're about to call up here. But Pam Shaw, when I was elected to the state legislature in 2007, started a term in 2008, one of the first friendly faces I met was Pam Shaw.
Well, this is the political stalwart, okay? When you talk about Black women in politics in Mississippi and those who've been a part of just shaping and making change happen, Pam Shaw sits at the epicenter of that.
Well, thank you very much. I don't think all of that is true. Some
Well, my part was true.
That's good. No.
Well, Pam, you've worn so many hats. I mean, you have been a part of political campaigns. You've been, of course, a part of some of our friends of Children's Defense Fund, ACLU. You've worked on objective for the SPLC. You've worked on just about every organization doing good in the state of Mississippi. You, at some time or another, have done something with them or for them. So you've seen so many of these races, and here we are getting ready to get to the end of another one. What's going through your head right now?
So it's interesting coming on Jackson State's campus today. It brought me back to the first time that I voted in a federal election. I am not a Jackson State alum. I'm an alum of Southern University, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And the first time I voted in a federal election, Leslie McLemore was a political science professor at Jackson State and was running for Congress.
Wow.
Right. I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was. Y'all need to go and do some research to figure that out. I requested an absentee ballot. You had to get it notarized. It felt like too many steps that they wouldn't count my ballot. So I took the bus from Baton Rouge to Vicksburg. My mom and her friends met me at the bus station. I got off the bus. We went and voted. We had lunch. I got back on the bus and went back to school. Leslie McLemore lost.
But you brought up a good thing. I mean, and now you invoked his name, and I can't let this moment pass by, but without recognizing that this is the, I believe, 70th anniversary of Freedom Votes here that was launched here on Jackson State's campus, which Attorney McLemore was played a pivotal role in, and some of the work around mobilizing and setting up these mock elections and things like that, and you invoking his name in his run for Congress.
But that's absolutely right. His presence is interwoven in the history of electoral politics in Mississippi. Equally important, though, were the lessons I learned from that, right? So one of the lessons I learned was what looks good on paper doesn't always appear to be real. Voter engagement is hugely important. It can't be about a person. It has to be about the future. We got to stop playing checkers and start playing chess. And that you lose.
Yeah.
You don't give up.
Yeah.
You keep trying. I think that a lesson we took from that was we needed these supermajority Black districts. I think that was a mistake. I think the supermajority Black districts moved us down the road in such a way that we don't necessarily do the kind of voter engagement that we needed for a day like today, which got us to 20 years of, in some ways, of not being engaged. So that's what I thought about walking on this campus. Yeah. And thinking about just, I was gone out of the state for 25 years. It doesn't seem like it, right? But and being back, how we have evolved or devolved, because I think both of those things can happen at the same time. And I think this is a pivotal moment. As I've moved around the state, working with all of the partners you just mentioned, worked on a campaign called The Urgency is Right Now, an Issues Advocacy Campaign, partnered with SPLC, ACLU, Black Women's Roundtable, Black Voters Matter, Southern Rural Black Women's Initiative, CDF, all of those coming together saying in community, issues are what is important. Not a person. Issues is not what is important. And what we all know is there were fewer and fewer competitive races down ballot. Mm-hmm. In August, we had the lowest voter turnout that we had since 2007, per the Secretary of State, less than 30%. And some of that is just, there was no reason. And when you don't have competitive races, people don't go knock on doors. Mm-hmm. They're not engaging the public. And we really need to do that in order to keep people engaged so that we won't find ourselves where we are here yet again. Now, I found something very different this year, right? I found all of us doing stuff across the state in a way that I hadn't seen happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, so you go into communities and you see SPLC's organizers, you see Black Voters Matters organizers, you see Fair Counts organizers, you see the Poor People's Campaign organizers. You didn't see that 4 years ago.
Well, yeah.
You didn't see that 8 years ago. And I think it is because individually and collectively, the organizations recognize that, yes, Brandon will make a great governor, but it's bigger than Brandon.
Yeah.
And so the way to do that is to come together and have conversation and talk about people and engage.
Well, y'all see why she's the queen, the dom, Mississippi. Pam, we appreciate you so much for stopping by and joining us here. And what I'll take away from what you shared is that you don't just lose elections, you learn from them.
That's every lesson. Forever, the greatest learning ought to come from your loss.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking you mentioned the difficulty of voting as a student. Those problems remain.
Still exist.
Yeah.
I'm still looking out at a group of students those who participated had a lot of hoops to jump through.
Yes.
So we're still dealing with some of that. You mentioned a first important pivotal race in your life as being a loss. And I think this is the story of so many of us who care deeply about this state. And we all have to find something to kind of sustain us. And I'm with you. There's something different about this moment. We'll find out how different, but something is moving. And I think that's something that's special and that we need to seize regardless of the outcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so
all.
much. We
Thank
appreciate you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you for
That was wonderful.
joining us.
So we have other friends, believe it or
have a lot
not,
of friends,
amazingly.
Brandon.
And one of them has been doing yeoman's work in Hinds County, Representative Zakiya Summers, who has probably, I'm curious to hear about her day.
Right. I know she's probably been all over this county.
Because as we've mentioned a couple of times, Hinds County voting has been extended. So we are.
And that's what threw me off.
Yes, I think, well, that's why I wonder. I said, well, her night might have changed significantly.
Because, I mean, well, you all know, and good evening, everybody. I'm a
Jump
former
right in.
election commissioner.
Uh-huh.
And so I still have contact with a lot of my precinct managers. So I'm texting them and trying to get the word out to let them know that the time has been extended to 8. They're not very happy about it, of course, but I try to, just let them know that it's for the voters to be able to exercise their rights. So
and I think that's really important, right? We should be in the business of making voting as accessible as possible to folks. Pam just shared how, in the primaries, it was one of the lowest turns we've had since 2007, right? And so now we're at a moment where we are running out of ballots in precincts, right? People have been out all day long. Just the lines have been long, but it's been long in a good way. People have been patient. They've been waiting. And that's a good problem to have.
it is.
It's just, except when we don't have the ballots ready to go.
Well, I think it speaks volumes to organizations like SPLC and One Voice and NAACP and the whole civic engagement roundtable that have been working very hard over months. I mean, we've done all the things, and I count myself as part of the roundtable.
Oh, you are always in the
roundtable. That we know how to do, and then some. And I just feel really good about tonight. I just feel like the cards are in our favor tonight.
I feel good too. I really do.
I really do.
But
Do you know that I had Brandon in addition tonight?
No.
Brandon in Washington edition at Stamps Burgers today.
Oh,
okay.
I did see that was going to happen.
Yes.
And I wanted to come because I love a good Stamps burger. But
Yes.
That's nice.
that's so good.
And the constituents were excited about seeing him. I don't think we've ever had a candidate in that community ever.
And especially at this pivotal moment.
Especially at this pivotal moment.
Well,
It's
I'm
amazing.
really happy. We're going to have more Representative Summers in the State House because you don't have an opponent.
No, we don't.
So, but you have been working. So tell us what have you been up to? Because I know you haven't stopped, even though you're not running in a campaign on your own behalf.
I mean, we never stopped campaigning once we got into office.
Yeah.
I mean, the point of being a representative or in leadership is to always be in communication with your constituents.
Yeah.
That's right.
To be accessible, to be available, to be responsive. And so we've been continuing, going to meetings, doing speaking engagements, having interns, young people that help us in our office, working with colleagues, working with organizations, neighborhood associations across the district, and just letting them know that they have a voice at the table, that we want to hear their concerns, and we want to turn those concerns into policy solutions.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing too that makes you just such a stellar state rep, right?
thank you.
And I'm not saying that just because you're my friend. I actually really mean it. You know, there's something special about someone who keeps their pulse on community, right?
Absolutely.
Who is a fixture, who doesn't forget the small things, and like, you know, taking a candidate to a historic staple of our community. It also shows a level of vulnerability and accessibility that people here, particularly voters here in Mississippi, have not had in a very long time. And so I want to commend you for even having that foresight and making sure that the candidates understand that you cannot come and want to reside in this city if you don't talk to the people in this city.
That's exactly right.
That's so important.
And I think that's one of the most important things that I'm looking forward to in Brandon's leadership is the need to work with the officials that actually live and represent in these local areas, because we haven't seen that. You know, we've seen a really top-down approach in terms of the state exerting its authority over local communities. And we need someone at the top. We need a governor that's willing to work with us, to listen to us, because as you said, we are the pulse of the community. We're the ones that are getting the direct information from our constituents. And we can turn that information into good communication that will help our governor and other elected officials understand what the issues are, what the problems are, but also the people that are closest to the problem are also closest to the solution. So let's work together to make that happen.
That's good. That's so pivotal.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well, so I think you have studied politics for a big part of your life. You've been a part of political races. You've helped others. You've helped yourself. You know this stuff. Granted, it's a weird moment. They haven't started counting yet, but how do you feel? Give us some predictions about tonight. What are you looking for on results, and what do you think's going to happen?
Well, Brandon and Zakiya, when I was at my precinct this morning and I voted at the JPD Training Academy in West Jackson, and I looked up above the building were the American flag, the Mississippi state flag, and the city of Jackson flag. And I said, wow. What a view. And the flags were flying so beautifully. And it made me think about my children. It made me think about my ancestors who had no idea that they would have a descendant in the state capitol. And it made me think about my generations that I may never get a chance to meet. That's how critical this point is in our state's history. I had the honor and privilege of being able to cast a vote on a flag that many before me, fought so hard to change. And now we're looking at continuing that chapter of our history moving forward, not just for this point in history, but for the future of the state of Mississippi. So I'm just excited. I was telling CJ, I said, I feel like Jay-Z, I can hold my cards up. I got all the jokers, I got all the trumps, all the aces, and I'm ready to play and I'm ready to win. I just feel like we're gonna win tonight.
I feel that too. And you know, you talking about space now. They're gonna be playing space over here tonight, so make sure you tap in with the students. But you said so many critical things, and I love how you connected this moment to legacy, and to the legacy that you're walking in, but the one that you're also paving, right? And that's what I think that this election represents for so many of us, right? Like, it represents the future of our state. I don't believe that any person who's born here, bred here, go to school here, should have to leave here in order to make a quality life for themselves, right? Mississippi belongs to all of us, and this is our opportunity to center that conversation for so many people who have lost hope here in the state, right? You know, I think about this past year and all that we've been riddled with here in the state, and how we've taken those, you know, those challenging times and really repurposed those for this moment.
Absolutely.
And so I feel that energy. You know, I was telling Brandon months ago, like, he was like, how you feel? I don't know. And then we get to this moment, and then he's like, I'm ready. I feel it. It's in the air. And I'm like, Brandon, don't get me hyped, because, you know, we still got to see it all play out. But it is just a beautiful moment. And it feels like one where everyone's involved, right? From middle school, we're talking to young kids investing in this now.
You know, we've been around. We carry the trauma of these past elections with us, and your body and your mind don't want to allow you to get excited.
But that's good.
But then finally, a couple weeks ago, I was like, if you step back and you just look at the objective evidence that we have, and you divorce yourself from our horrific electoral past, then it's like, you know, if you were looking at this from any objective perspective, you would say that momentum is with the progressive candidates.
Yeah.
Momentum is for change. And I finally just decided a couple weeks ago, I'm just going to lean into it. I
That's
feel
right.
excited.
He
I feel
has. He
good.
absolutely
Oh, I
has.
texted you. I texted you something.
we
I was
sure
like, I
did.
feel good. I feel good. I'm just
When
owning
I
it.
talked
that
to
made me
Brandon
feel
this
good.
morning, it was that energy.
Yeah.
Right? I was the one who had kind of went on the fence a little bit, like,
That's right.
let me see what they're gonna do at this polling place. But then you see it and you feel it and you hear.
Yes.
When I was on campus earlier today here at Jackson State, I heard students who were in passing asking other students to have they voted.
Yeah.
Right? That's a great
That's
signal.
a great thing.
That wasn't prompted by, even though we were here and had presence on the campus, they were doing it independently, which
Yeah.
says that they pick up on the energy, right? It's like they're
Right.
sponges. Like we say that all the time, kids are sponges, but they really have adapted and adopted this principle that this is on all of us.
Yeah.
And so I think, and that's part of the momentum, it's part of the investment that they see us all making throughout the
Mhm.
time. And you know, I want, and this may be selfish to me, but I want each person that we touch to know that they have the ability to touch someone else,
Yeah.
right? And they should.
Yeah. I mean, and not only that, because I was here at the precinct upstairs at Jackson State a few hours ago too, and there were students there that would not leave until they made sure that they were registered and that they had voted.
Mhm.
And they called me and they said, "Well, Representative Summers, I'm having some issues. Am I supposed to vote by affidavit?" And I said, "If your name isn't on the poll book, you need to vote by affidavit." And they stayed there. They completed the process
Mhm.
until they saw the precinct manager take that in. That is important,
That is.
particularly for college students here at Jackson State who have worked so hard to revitalize this precinct. Just
Right.
months ago,
Right.
this was a very low turnout precinct because the students are so transient. But the folks here at Jackson State University have made a point to ensure that they engage students. And I'm really proud of all of the children
Yes.
across Hinds County.
Yes.
I went to my son's school this morning and I saw beautiful posters greet me as I came into the school.
Wow.
Vote now, vote for our future, vote for
love
me.
that. I love that.
Vote
I
for
love
me.
that. I
So
love
you know,
that.
we like to make change be a negative term
Mhm.
or make it a dog whistle. But the reality is that the people in Mississippi want to see change.
That's right.
Every time I speak to a young mother, I ask her, I say, "Why are you voting?" She says, "I'm voting for change." That's what we need in Mississippi. That's what tonight symbolizes.
Well, listen, Representative Summers, thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so
us.
much.
This has
I
been
enjoyed
amazing.
y'all. That went
We
by
have to
really
have you
fast.
back. This is our launch, so
Okay.
we have many more opportunities for you to
Very
come and
good.
talk to
Wonderful.
us.
Thank
Well,
you.
we thank you
Thank you
so
all
much.
so much.
Yeah, we appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
Let's
we-
make it happen, y'all.
Yeah,
Let's do
we're
it.
gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So, y'all, in case you're just now tuning in, we are coming to you live from right here on the campus of VI Love, Jackson State University. We're here engaging students and some of our amazing friends and partners who come through to say what's up to us here on set. And now I think we have some incredible students who are going to join us to kind of share their perspectives of what today has meant for them, why they're here tonight, what they're looking forward to. So it's a lot of excitement happening here on campus, and we want to hear from those who have been a part of making that excitement happen. So I think we have coming up to the stage, is it Manaya? Do we have Manaya coming? Amaya Banks. Amaya, come on down. Amaya Banks joins us here at Jackson
Thank you
State.
for being here.
Thank you, Amaya. Thank you. She's here representing JSU Votes and Mississippi Votes. How you feeling?
I feel great.
You
How are
feel,
you
come
feeling?
on up to the mic. It's your mic. It's your mic. It's your mic. So, like, tell us about like what the energy has been like here on campus. Like, not just today, but leading up to this moment. How has it been for you all?
I've never experienced energy like this before. Like, so earlier today we had a stroll to the poll, and I've never seen students, especially like minority students, come together and be a part of something great. Like, it was a great feeling. The energy was live. I loved everything about it.
Oh wow, I was here for that, and it took me back to my collegiate days. But I reminded myself that I am not 20 anything anymore, and I did not get into any chance or steps or strengths or anything like that. So, but Amaya, so tell us, like, beyond just what you saw today, like, what have you all been doing here on campus? Have there been classes, voter registrations? Tell me about some of the things that have been happening here. What's been the intention here on campus?
Absolutely. So the main goal is try to get our classmates to come out and vote, right? So we've been having we've had a voter registration day earlier this semester.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we send out emails to get your voter registration cards in. And yeah, also we've been telling our classmates, like, just come out and come to the polls. We also have an Instagram for JSC Votes where we send out a video every day saying
That's
like what's
cool.
happening with the elections
Love
and the
that.
candidates, and just making sure like the word is getting spread.
That's so cool. That's cool. So let me ask you something. Why is it important that folks vote here at Jackson State?
I say it's important that folks vote here at Jackson State because this is your community. If you want change to happen, you come out and vote. You got to vote for the candidates you see fit to make change happen. So if you want change, come vote.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Amaya, you've been such a jewel here with us on set today. This is This Side of the River podcast. Make sure you follow us. We'll make sure you get all the handles and all that other cool stuff. Brandon, did you have anything for Amaya?
Yeah, I'm just so encouraged by young voter participation. You know, you and I were talking before the show started about one of the things that people say is you're wasting dollars on trying to get college students out because they've dialed this stuff out. And so to hear about the activity on the campus this week, to hear about your experience, it's encouraging. I'm wondering, is this the type of thing that makes you think you might want to do more of this? Is this kind of work something that is exciting to you?
Absolutely. This is like my first semester being on a team where we're trying to make our classmates come vote. So absolutely, for the rest of my 4 years, I want to make sure that our classmates come out and engage in our community. This is your community. You know, I'm not from here, but coming here to Jackson, I'm going to be here for the rest of my 4 years. So this is my community. So
I love it. So what year are you, by the way?
I'm a sophomore.
Oh,
Yes,
I love
ma'am.
sophomores. They're the best. Outside of freshmen. No, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate having you here. And thank you for all you've been doing here on campus to ensure that your classmates are up and they're out and they're voting. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank
we're lucky to
you.
have you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. All right, next up, who do we have coming next up? We have Adrian Cargo all the way from Memphis, Tennessee. Adrian is a senior psychology major here at Jackson State. Hey, Adrian,
Hi, what's going on?
how you
I'm
doing?
doing good.
How you feeling?
Good as I can be.
Oh,
I'm making it
good.
another day. That's all I can tell you.
Another day, another day. Well, Adrian, the mic is your friend. They told me, they reminded me that it is my friend. It's also your friend. How are you feeling? How you feel about the night?
Honestly, about the night, I'm really nervous about this interview, but about tonight is very important, not just for me or for the school, but for everyone in the state. This is history that we're making. History in the making. That's all I can tell you, and that's just a highlight. That's just a phrase I can definitely be proud enough to say.
Well,
Adrian, what has
should be
energy
nervous.
been like on campus? How's it? How would you describe
It's
it?
been electric. It's been all around. It's been exciting. It's been, a lot of things because we're all just trying. This is like the most, like this day has been very, very, very vital. It's, this is the most important things that we're doing as a people, as African Americans. We're trying to get not just our campus, but we're trying to get everyone, as many people as possible, to vote, to make our voices be heard, to mark our, to plant on, just to make our moves on history right here. This is definitely history.
So, Adrian, what issue drove you to vote today?
Well, the issue that drove me to vote is, I can honestly say I can't really think of anything specific, but just me being an African American and just knowing that there are a lot of things going on, not just in the city of Jacksonville, in the state of Mississippi. I just feel like I am one of many people that just needs to just need to be inclusive in this day, in this voting process. I feel like, but speaking of issues, the issues that I can tell you is the water issue, the water crisis, the infrastructures in the city, and a lot of other things revolving around our school. We just need as people of this great state, and coming from me as a non-Mississippian, I feel like this is my home, my second home. Jackson is my second home away from home, and I feel like I'm just as important in Mississippi as I am anywhere else, especially in my home state. And those are the issues that I really just want to mark down right now.
Those are all, by the way, important issues and all issues that are on the ballot. Having an economy that works for everyone, having a government that's responsive to everyone, and then water and infrastructure, that's on the minds of people across the state. So, Adrian, we're lucky to have you in Mississippi. We're glad you're at Jackson State, part of this community. Thank you for all the work you've done this year. And thank you for stopping by this side of the river.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Well, Brandon, this time flew by.
We did.
Like,
Yeah.
seriously, we are 1 minute away from wrapping this thing up.
Yeah. And, we're about to start counting ballots in Mississippi.
Yeah.
We're going to find out some things about who's going to be representing us at the state and local level.
Mhm.
Mississippi is a state that has off-year elections. So we're one of the few states in the country that elects folks statewide office all the way down to county and local during a non-federal year. So this is a very pivotal moment for the state.
Pivotal.
We're going to have shows on the other side
Yes.
of these elections. We'll talk a little bit about the results, what they mean, and then we'll dive into the issues and where they stand after these elections. So this is an exciting time to be talking about Mississippi.
One of the most exciting times. And for folks at home, if you want to stay connected to everything that we're doing and the conversations that we're going to be having right here on this side of the river podcast, feel free to follow us online. You can follow us on Instagram at this side of the river podcast. That's on Instagram. I think it's on X and Facebook. So feel free to plug in with us. And we also have a YouTube channel coming soon as well, where you can catch us not only across anywhere that podcasts are posted, but also you can catch us online and get some of these beautiful visuals that we offer as well.
Again, I'm not beautiful, but I'm doing the best I can.
Be beautiful enough for both of us. So
That's right. You'll have to be.
I have to be.
Yeah. This was great. Thank you, Zakiya. Thank you, Jackson
Brandon.
State
Thank
students,
you.
guests, our team. This was a lot of fun.
This was amazing. And I just also want to shout out Professor Jacobi Grant, who helped pull this all together here for us here on Jackson State's campus. I want to shout out the team at Black with No Chasers, who's also co-collaborating with us on this podcast and making sure we're broadcasting it out to broader communities. And of course, the amazing team at SPLC Action Fund. We could not do it without the folks that make us look so good, right?
Yeah.
You included, Brandon.
That's
You're
right.
part of that too.
That's right. Yeah.
So y'all stay tuned. More to come. Check us out. We're going to actually do another set tomorrow to kind of do a recap of election results. So I'm with Kenya Clanton. It's been nice seeing you guys, and thanks for tuning in. All right. How did that go?